You send your kids to learn math, history, and maybe some science. But what if I told you that the man teaching them was also running an international drug empire from behind his desk? This isn't a Netflix series. It's real. A quiet teacher in a small town turned global kingpin. This is the unbelievable story of Paul Le Roux and how a man who looked like the guy fixing your Wi-Fi became one of the most dangerous criminals on earth. Paul Le Roux was a quiet guy. Glasses, button-down shirts, looked like he still lived with his mom. Born in Zimbabwe, raised in South Africa. He wasn't exactly your typical criminal mastermind. He had one talent: computers. And he knew how to use them. In the early 2000s, Paul was just another face in the crowd. But behind that desk, he was already building something big. Not a lesson plan, not a side hustle, a drug empire. He was the kind of a guy no one paid attention to, and that was exactly what made him dangerous. Paul wasn't just a teacher, he was a coder, and sometimes in 2000s, he created an open source encryption program that actually helped with security. Yep, he was smart enough to help good guys. But that wasn't the life he wanted. Instead of protecting data, Paul figured out how to hide drug shipments. He set up an online pharmacy business. Sounds legit, right? Wrong. He used it to ship prescription drugs like painkillers and sedatives without prescription straight to Americans. Hundreds of thousands of packages. And guess what? It worked. He made millions quietly. No guns, no street deals, just websites, fake doctors, and pills. Once Paul saw how easy it was, he wanted more. He moved to the Philippines. And that is when things got darker. He stopped playing it safe. He started building a network, not just of websites, but of mercenaries, hitmen, corrupt cops, and the real deal smugglers. Cocaine, meth, heroin, you name it. He began laundering money through gold, real estates, fake companies, and even fishing businesses. A drug empire with the face of a teacher. A nerd with a global army. He even had his own kill list. This wasn't about money anymore. Paul was becoming something else. A ghost in the shadows, pulling strings across continents. One of the scariest things, Paul never got his hands dirty. He didn't need to. He hired ex-military men to do it for him. And if you messed up, well, let's just say you disappeared. Employees were tracked, tested, and even executed. One time, he had an entire family murdered because someone leaked a shipment schedule. all controlled by emails and encrypted chats. He even used GPS to watch his men on missions in real time while sitting in his penthouse. This was no longer an online pharmacy. It was a criminal super network run by a man with no face in the underworld, but eyes everywhere. By 2012, the DEA and the FBI were watching. They didn't know who he was exactly, but the bodies were piling up and the packages kept coming. So they set a trap. One of Paul's employees secretly flipped. They tricked Paul into flying to Liberia, a country with no extradition protections. The moment his plane touched down, he was surrounded. Paul Le Roux was arrested. The teacher behind the desk was now in handcuffs. But the story didn't end there, because Paul had one more trick up his sleeve. After his arrest, Paul didn't go straight to prison. Instead, he flipped. He agreed to help the DEA track down the very network he had built. He became an informant, leading undercover missions, giving up locations, and exposing dozens of corrupt dealers and assassins. But some say he used it as leverage, that by cooperating, Paul was secretly buying himself a lighter sentence and maybe even rebuilding part of his empire from inside. He is now in prison. But to this day, people still wonder how much of his network is still out there. He taught himself crime, he built an empire, he played both sides. Was he a genius, a madman, or both? Paul Le Roux showed the world that not all criminals wear masks. Some wear glasses, some teach algebra, some hide behind keyboards. In the end, he proved one thing: the most dangerous people are the ones you never see coming.